League tonight. At the end, what's been a busy week in all three divisions.
Yes, we've had some surprising results. Clubs about to be bought and sold, and 4 managerial departures. We'll be seeing how those clubs fared without their old bosses.
And Michael Gray will be talking us through some of the key games this evening. But he's not the only former England fullback in the studio tonight, because later we're going to be joined by a Nottingham Forest legend.
At the top of the Sky Bet Championship, Brighton were unbeaten in their first 9 games for the first time in their history, prior to today's visit by Cardiff. Dan Mason, watch this one.
The only unbeaten side in the Championship. Before this game, Brighton hadn't even been behind in a league match. But that was to change against old boss Russell Slade and Cardiff. Joe Mason on target just 5 minutes in. Brighton threatened an immediate comeback. Simon Moore forced into a splendid double save by Sam Baldock and Liam Rossigna. Moore distinguished himself once again as Baldock got on the end of Berham Kayal's cross. But Russell Slade was unable to celebrate a year in charge of Cardiff with a win. Dale Stevens fired Brighton deservedly level with the interval approaching. The Seagulls' best chance to preserve their 100% home record came in injury time, but Manu and Gordon Greer failed to convert Stevens' cross. Brighton recording a 3rd straight draw.
Well, that result gave Middlesbrough the chance to go top of the Championship if they could beat Reading at the Madejski Stadium. But the home side have been making big strides this season, perhaps inspired by a new song composed by their co-chair. Pretty special, isn't it? The song is called They Call Us the Royals. It's been played before games at the Mad Stad, which we are now calling it. Do we like it? A resounding thumbs up. We'll see what effect it had today, though, against the league favourites Middlesbrough, who were made evens to win the title this morning. Here's Dan O'Hagan.
Reading's players in perfect harmony from the off. 15 seconds on the clock when Danny Williams made his mark in Royals history with the club's fastest ever league goal. His first at home. The Royals were a team on song. Borough's defence stretched twice in quick succession. First, Dimi Constantopoulos save from Nick Blackman. Orlando Sarr's follow-up, kept out by Danny Ayala. Into the second half, and the sweet music of the referee's whistle handed Reading the chance to seal the deal. Blackman scored for the 4th successive match, and for the 8th time in 8 games in League and Cup. Reading not quite top of the pops, but a non-mover at number 3.
So Reading closed the gap on the top 2. One of the biggest crowds of the day was at Elland Road. Leeds United aiming to bounce back from defeat at Middlesbrough last Sunday, while Birmingham won at Brentford on Tuesday night. And that result took Gary Rowett's side into the playoff places. Could they maintain that momentum? Commentary of this one comes from Paul Walker.
Here is Morrison. Back it comes to Caddis. And taking no chances with Stuart Dallas close by. Donaldson's flick. Davis trying to help it on towards Gray. Here is Gray. Looking to get the shot away. Couldn't hit the target. And a very lively young player, Damari Gray. Dallas. Being watched by Cottrell. Taylor's cross. Beyond Wood. Out by Grounds, and this is Buckley. Cook for Berardi. Finds himself some room. And Kushak watched it all the way through. He's never scored. Berardi. That's a really neat turn. Leeds United continue to probe. Taylor against Caddis. Between Caddis and Cottrell, they've managed to work it clear. Gleeson going long, and Donaldson might get beyond the last defender here. It's Clayton Donaldson. And his touch was poor. This is Gray, though. He might profit. Here is Gray. Great finish. Birmingham ahead. Damari Gray rifles it home. Damari Gray profiting here. Right-footed drive beyond Silvestri. Nothing the Leeds keeper could do with that. So much power on it. And it's Leeds United 0, Birmingham 1. Smashed forward by Cardiff. Pounced on though by Grounds, and this is Demarai Gray. Somehow emerges with it. Grounds, Gray, chance to run at Bamba. This is where he's dangerous. Demarai Gray finds the gap, pushed away by Silvestri. And this is where Gray can cause problems. Found a little room there and got the shot away. Taylor. Dallas taking over, getting away from Keefton Belt and finding Wood. And a break here for Dallas. No flag, it's Dallas! What a save, Kushak. Robinson screaming at the linesman on this near side as to why the flag didn't go up in the air. But Dallas takes his shot here, and Kushak, that is a terrific save with his left hand. Mowatt's corner. And he's towards Bamba! And he glances the header wide. Well, that is a good chance. Bamba climbs really well to get on the end of it. Fails to hit the target. Drop for Keefton Belt. And now Donaldson away from Bamba. He's through here, Clayton Donaldson. Berardi coming across. That is brilliant defending from Gaetano Berardi. Well, he's possibly saved another goal going against his team there, Berardi, with that challenge. Dallas slings it over. It's Robinson again. This will drop here for Cook. Real chance for Lewis Cook. Good save from Kushak again. Excellent stop, and it's Gray carrying the counter-attack for Birmingham. Oh, he's beyond Cooper. It's Demarai Gray. He's got Donaldson in the box as well to aim at. Here is Demarai Gray. He pulls it in across. Bamba was there. And now Magoma. And stopped on the line by Taylor. What an opportunity for Birmingham. This is great for Birmingham. Going to steer it back into one of his teammates. Magoma's shot stopped on the line, and it all came from this. Lewis Cook had time to think about what he wanted to do, and Kushak managing to push it away to safety. Cleared by Kushak. The fourth official wanders to the edge of the pitch. And this is Jacques Magoma. 4 minutes added on. It's Magoma. This to settle it. Magoma wins it for Birmingham. In stoppage time, the substitute makes it 2 to the Blues. It has been a classic away performance from a Birmingham side that have been resolute, well drilled, well organised, and they've hit Leeds twice on the break and will win at Ellen Road. Magoma, positive play, driving at the Leeds defence. Smashing the ball into the bottom corner. It is all over, and Leeds' wait for a home win continues.
It's always the first goal is very decisive, and in the moment we don't get in our home games, we don't get our potential out, not offensively and not defensively.
Our discipline, our shape, our desire to keep a clean sheet, our togetherness, and we always looked, from the first minute, we always looked threatening on the counter-attack. And I think first half we had 2 or 3 really good positions and opportunities we couldn't quite take. But overall, you know, to limit a good Leeds side to 1 clear-cut chance, which Thomas Kujak's made a wonderful save from in the first half, was an almighty effort.
So another good win for Birmingham. They're still unbeaten away from home in the Championship, but it always seems there's more to talk about with the team that's struggling. And as Gary Rowett said there, the highlights seemed to sort of flatter Leeds a little bit, didn't they? It made it look like they had more chances than they did. Yeah, they did. And I think, you know, you look at the way that Birmingham set up, it's more counter-attack than football, Kelly, and boy, did they break well today, this afternoon. I mean, it was 2 superb goals, you have to say that. And I think Uwe's got to look at his side and think, possession-wise, yes, they had a lot of it, but it's what they do with it. It's the individual mistakes that his side are making that are costing them over the last couple of games. Certainly at the back, but I think, you know, he'll work on that in training. They will get it right. It's a huge club, and he said they just find it difficult at home at the moment. I think they've got to have broad shoulders, and if they can do that,
might see their first win in the next few weeks.
Absolutely, and they might have to rush to get it right because it's starting to be a nervy time for managers. 4 managers lost their jobs this week, starting off in the Sky Bet Championship on Monday when Marinus Dijkhuizen left Brentford after only 9 games in charge. He's been replaced by Lee Carsley until the end of the season. Steve Evans also left Rotherham by mutual consent after 3.5 years in charge, including successive promotions from League 2 and League 1. On Wednesday, Graham Alexander's tenure ended at League 1 Fleetwood after nearly 3 years, including promotion via the League 2 playoffs. Then on Thursday in League 2, Terry Butcher's brief stint at Newport ended. He's been replaced by John Sheridan. The thing is, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, and you were saying 10, 14 games, that's how long you've got to give managers, and it seems like there's another wave of managerial changes.
Well, yeah, we did. We spoke about it, didn't we? And I think the chairman, you know, they want success, overnight success, Kelly. And I think that's the way that you have to look at it now. This is why these managers, unfortunately, have lost their jobs. But there'll be 4 jobs there who... The list of managers out of work at the moment is absolutely huge. So they'll be wanting to get themselves back into football as well. So, you know, it's great for them. Unfortunately, it's a bit upsetting for the managers who've lost the job. But it's a results business. We'll keep on saying it throughout the years. But that's what it is. If you're not winning and you're at the bottom of the table, these chairmen, they want new faces in. They want a fresh face in the dressing room to look at these players, and they want a reaction, and they need a reaction very quick.
Well, one of those clubs that made a managerial change is Brentford. They went to Derby today. How did life under Lee Carsley start?
Yes, well, I mean, you see him here, I mean, he's obviously bubbly. I think we saw him speaking to a few of the players before the game and everything, but I actually thought this was the best performance of Derby throughout the whole of the season so far. They just look very positive from the off. And again, they've got 2 guys on form at the moment. Chris Martin sticking the ball in the back of the net for his 5th goal of the season, which is great for him. And the man on form at the minute for them as well, Tom Ince, who's absolutely flying, 3 and 3 as well. But he's also creating opportunities as well. But what a ball from Baird there as well. And this got it going. But getting themselves into the danger area, and when you're full of confidence, that's what you do. You stick the ball in the back of the net. And they were full of confidence. It was a great win for Derby County today. Absolutely.
And you're saying that there are signs that Paul Clement's tactics, his way of going about the game, is getting through to the players, and you're seeing that on the pitch now?
We are, yeah. I wasn't too sure about this 4-3-3 at the beginning of the season for Derby County, but it seems to be working from them. Brentford, you know, they're still searching, aren't they, since Mark Warburton left the club last season as well. They haven't found that form. This is why they find themselves at the bottom of the table. They got themselves and tried to get back into the game, but I think this afternoon it was all about Derby County. They were quality from start to finish. I think Paul Clement will be very, very pleased with the way that his side performed, and this guy here is just bang on form right now.
Absolutely. So Derby County with a 2-0 win against Brentford. Like you said, everything going right for Paul Clement at the moment. Not so for his formerly opposite number at Brentford, Marinus Dijkhuizen, who has parted company with the club. But Lee Carsley says he doesn't want the Brentford manager's job after this season. Here's what he had to say after today's game.
Apart from the results, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the last 4 days. It's been good. I feel like I'm really enjoying the coaching, getting on the grass with the lads. Obviously, you can see the confidence isn't there at the minute, but like I say, I think the important thing is now we've got the break. We've got a chance now to really put over what we're looking for, and hopefully we'll see the benefits of that.
Well, there's one temporary manager. In a moment, we'll see another. Rotherham's caretaker boss, Eric Black. How did he get on in his first game in charge? We'll be right back. Welcome back to Football League tonight. Now, Steve Evans' departure from Rotherham on Monday was an amicable one. He had, after all, taken them from League 2 to the Championship and kept them there as well. And the search for his permanent replacement continues, with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank turning down the job today. Well, Eric Black was in the home dugout for last night's visit of Burnley. Andy Hinchcliffe and Daniel Mann are your commentators.
Andrew. Clark Harris. Here is Derbyshire. Ward. It's going to open up for the strike.
Well, it's certainly worth a pop. Patient football. Don't just throw it in there willy-nilly. Just get it into teammates' feet and see if they can get shots away. Decent strike.
That was me. Here's Boyd. Oh, and Smallwood's touch in for Gray! That's what they paid the money for. Onto the chance in a flash, and he took it superbly.
When the ball breaks George Boyd's way, just watch Andre Gray. He just expects the ball to be played over the top. He's not caught on his heels, he's ready to move. Danny Collins gets caught ball watching. He doesn't know where Andre Gray is, and it is the finish you expect with Andre Gray. Just tucks it away beautifully.
Folks, bit of space for him, which he'll exploit! Oh! And he's so unlucky.
Well, this is as clean a strike as you're ever going to see, but again, look at the time and space that he's got here, and that's down to the formation Rotherham are playing. They can't get close enough.
Jones. He'll take aim! And this time Camp did get to it and turned it to safety.
Lee Camp does well here. I think the height helps him. Just get a good forearm on that, you can actually save it pretty comfortably.
Nice turn by Derbyshire! And some work at last for Heaton to do.
Good strength from Clark Harris, good combination play by the Rotherham front two. I think Tom Heaton sees this all the way. Just the bounce of the ball could have made it a very difficult save.
This is Buxton. Arfield biting away there. Clark Harris trying to use his strength. Maguire. They're going to spread it now for Mattock. Ward. Of the Grant variety. Let's fly! Oh, I do not believe that! Nothing short of sensational from Grant Ward. How about that for your first goal for the club?
Well, it's a stunning strike, but let's give Eric Black some credit here. He's changed the formation, and look how high up the field Ward is. That's why he's in this position. But that said, that is pretty much unstoppable. A beautiful contact. I don't think any goalkeeper in the Championship is going to stop this.
Arfield. Gray. Beautifully done. It's Arfield now for Burnley. Oh, and Vokes was there. The Burnley lead restored. It's the other half of the partnership who pops up to devastating effect for Rotherham.
Well, you've got to feel for Lee Camp. He makes a quite brilliant save, but Kurt Broadfoot, he's only just come on. Just slightly caught on his heels here. Sam Vokes is heading towards the goal. He's waiting really, Broadfoot, waiting for his goalkeeper maybe to get up and actually collect the ball, but if you can get there and put your foot in, you have to do it. Sam Vokes, well, just quicker to the ball. He's there simply first, and that's why Burnley are ahead again.
We've got a strong jaw at times, and we're relentless in our thinking, and we don't get disappointed easily, as you saw. And we went back on the front foot and scored a very good goal.
So defeat for managerless Rotherham. Michael Gray, Steve Evans, very emotional, he says, to leave after 3 years. So the big question, who's the next man in?
Oh, well, there's certainly going to be a lot of candidates, isn't there? And I think, it's a great job to take on, obviously, a Championship manager's job as well.
Well, here are some of them.
Yeah, and 4 very decent managers and decent candidates. But I think the guy at the top there, Neil Redfearn, obviously, he's done every single job, I think, at Leeds United. So it's pleasing to see his name on there. And actually, out of those, I think he was my pick of the bunch, to be honest with you.
Nigel Clough, half a shout?
Yeah, listen, I would say 4 strong candidates, there's no question about that. Darren Ferguson, Stuart Gray, but Nigel Clough, he's getting experience in the jobs that he's already been in. But Championship football, we've seen what he did at Derby County, lost his way in the end, but there's no reason why he couldn't take it on as well.
Well, from a team without a manager to a team, Kelly, looking for a buyer.
Absolutely, and if you win big on that betting, and I mean really big, there are plenty of ways for you to spend their money. Wolves owner Steve Morgan has put the club up for sale on Monday. The following night, they won 3-0 at Fulham, who had Tom Kearney sent off. All 3 goals came in the second half. That was the last of them. James Henry's free kick, a quarter of an hour from the end. Today, they were at home to Huddersfield. Commentary comes from David Prutton and Bill Leslie.
Whitehead. Scannell. Hughes. Ward up to Miller. And Emma Hughes looking to spread play. And a beautifully executed ball to the feet of Carriol. Huddersfield can get men in the middle here. It's Carriol to take it on. Martinez equal to it. Wonderful build-up. And the effort on goal wasn't too bad either.
It's a good forward run by Carriol, though, getting beyond the Wolves midfield. But what a save by Martinez from Carriol, coming inside onto his right foot. Gets a really good connection on it.
Hughes' header will come to McDonald. That's well worked. McDonald at the heart of this move. Can he finish it again? There's your answer. Another stylish strike from the boot of Kevin McDonald. And halfway through this first half, Wolves lead.
We've not seen too much of Kevin McDonald so far, but what a way to stamp your authority on this match. Just glides through the middle of the Huddersfield team. Oh, look about this for a class finish.
Whitehead. No offside flag here against Emir Hughes. Hughes! Well, given the goal-scoring form that he's in at the moment, you won't begrudge him taking it on.
I think he does well to hold his run, but I'm thinking here, take a touch and smash it with that left foot. It's a tame effort with his right foot.
Afobe has Ojo to his left. And sweeping move this from Wolves. Can they find the end product that's eluded them for most of the afternoon? Nearly, very nearly.
Alex to take it on from a very tight angle. He's obviously got quality on that left foot.
Hughes has lost out. Here comes Afobe. Henry busting a gut to get forward down the middle. Here's Iorfa. Leggy run from him. Good delivery, Henry! Well, his expression tells you everything you need to know about the chance that went to begging there.
You can tell by his frustration that James Henry knows this should have been a goal. It's a wonderful ball in from Iorfa.
Price. Ojo. Lafondra begging for it. Can Ojo get his head up and find him? Goalborn. McDonald. Afobe. Oh, what a save! Jedsteer at full stretch, denied Benik Afobe.
It's just a tremendous strike from Benik Afobe. We thought McDonald was going to take it on, but look at the power he generates, and look at the swerve at the end. It is a terrific save.
Adam Lafondra onside here, in behind, up for Afobe! Benik Afobe finds a way through. Wolves double their lead.
Selfless play by Adam Lafondra. We've seen shots being taken from all kinds of acute angles today, but makes the absolute correct decision here to find his strike partner Benik Afobe for a relatively simple tapping of a man of his ability.
It's a landmark goal for him, his 50th in club football, his 5th of the season. Oh dear, Davidson with a mistake. Adam Lafondra round the keeper, Steer brings him down. Now Lafondra has been booked for that. What a big decision that is from the referee. Lafondra can't believe it.
Such a sloppy back pass from Davidson here that puts his team right in it. I think there's enough contact there. No wonder Lafondra is frustrated by the reaction. Why would Lafondra go down? There is an element of him leaving his leg there, but why would Lafondra go down?
Naki Wells! Martinez kept it out, just it enough. And Horse can get it away from immediate danger.
Good save for Martinez. He's had relatively little to do in this second half. First time Naki Wells has really got in behind the Wolves back four.
Davidson. Played by McDonald, and that could turn out to be a perfect pass into Benik Afobe, who can finish it off, and does! Big Benik certainly back in business for Wolves. He seals the deal with a couple of minutes to play. His second, and Wolves' his third.
McDonald doesn't even really look, puts it in an area, comes back towards into the 18-yard box. Let Benik Afobe get on with what he does best, which is scoring goals. With such calm, composure and class. Delightful finish by Benik Afobe.
no doubt about who's come out on top today.
It was a very good second-half performance. I thought Huddersfield started better than us. They created more chances early on and looked better on the ball. But the second half, we came into our own very much, created, and then I thought through that period, deserved our win.
It looked like Jed Steer was walking. It may be a surprise to see the yellow card. What did you think? Did you fear the worst?
Well, I saw him walking as well, so maybe I'll tell him, you know, you don't walk because you can make a referee's mind up. But fair play, the referee looked at it, and whether he walked or not, he felt it was a yellow for Lafondra. So you got to applaud the referees in that instance, and I made a good decision.
It was a massive call, that one, wasn't it? We watched it in the office earlier. We actually agreed that the referee made a really good call there, got it absolutely spot on, but I know it's divided opinion. Wolves up for sale. Steve Morgan, after 8 years, saying, right, that's it. Jez Moxley, the chief executive, says, in his view, they're a more appetising, more inviting proposition than any of the other Midlands clubs in terms of buying. Does he have a point, and where is the next Steve Morgan coming from?
Well, obviously, Steve's, I mean, he's put the message out that the club is for sale. I think he bought it for £30 million when he took it over 8 years ago, so I'm certain that the club's in a better place now. They built a new stand behind the goal while I was actually at Wolverhampton Wanderers. But what you're taking on is a great fan base, a wonderful club, has got a wonderful training ground, and they've got a decent side as well. You know, you look at the two guys up front today, Afobe and Lafondra as well, who are going to bang goals in throughout the whole of the season. And for somebody to come in, they are taking a great football club, and there's no question about that. So go for it.
There you go. Go for it indeed. Kelly, a few more victories like that, a few more afternoons like that may well accelerate the sale.
Might well do. Now, at the City Ground today, the club marked 25 years since the passing of Brian Clough's right-hand man, Peter Taylor. A stand was named after Taylor, and his picture was on the front of today's match programme for the visit of Hull. Dan O'Hagan watched this one.
Hull have made a strong start after relegation. They began well at Forest. Mohamed Diame's rocket, nearly the perfect start. Referee Nigel Miller played a central role, as too did Matt Mills. The Forest centre-back's wrestling match with Sean Maloney giving high flyers Hull a penalty. Taken by Uruguayan Abel Hernandez. Easy does it as home goalkeeper Doris de Vries made the save. But while 12 yards proved a challenge for Hernandez, 12 inches more to his liking. Hull ahead 5 minutes from half-time. But back to the Miller and Mills show. Mills thundering in to Chuba Akpom. A red card, Mills' 9th of his league career. Forest's 3rd successive home loss.
Well, it means that Hull keep pace with the Championship leaders, but Nottingham Forest stay in mid-table. One man keeping a keen eye on their progress is a club legend, double European Cup winner and former England international fullback. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Viv Anderson. Viv, as somebody who cares deeply about the club and you see where they are at the moment, how do you think they're faring under Dougie Freeman? Obviously not a great result today, but generally where do you think they are?
Yeah, I think they've struggled a little bit at home. I think away from home they won a big QPR last week, I think. And I think with this embargo on them, it's very difficult for him at the moment. So I hope he kicks on, and I think he'll do well under him. I think we've had a few managers from time to time over the last, 6 or 7 years. I think we should stick with one person. I think Doug is the man.
Good to hear. Now, Viv is one of an all-star Nottingham Forest cast, starring in a new feature film all about the club's glory days. Here's just a taster.
It was a mid-table, second division team. Nottingham Forest was the 3rd oldest Football League club.
It was in turmoil at the time.
We were all wondering who the next manager was going to be. It turned out it was Mr. Clough.
We had one thing in common, of course. We both want success.
Nottingham was buzzing. It was a fantastic time.
I hope anybody's not stupid enough to write us off.
Well, I don't know how many people did, but just remind us of the journey that Nottingham Forest made under Brian Clough.
Yeah, we got promoted and we won the league that year, and then won the European Cup the year after, and then retained it again. So they say in the modern day, if likes of Bournemouth came up, they achieve what we achieved. Well, I don't think it'd be done in this day and age, especially.
How much of a factor was Brian Clough? He's the man whose name will go down in history.
Oh yeah. You saw a bit about Peter. Peter had a big to do it as well. They were very good together, and obviously we've never achieved what we achieved unless he came at that right time. It's that many years ago now. It'll be interesting to see the film. I haven't seen it myself yet.
You haven't? Oh, well,
No.
there'll be lots for you to see in that film then. You talked about Peter Taylor. He was remembered today. And, of course, he was very much part of the club's story. And for you, Brian Clough said that, he was like the shop window and Peter Taylor was the goods in the back. Was that the relationship you saw between the men?
It was good cop, bad cop. And Peter was a nice, put your arm around you. How are you? Anything I can do for you? And then the manager was the other one who cracked the whip. So they were good together, and it proved what we managed to achieve over those years was very, very good. So I'm pleased that Peter got the recognition he deserves.
Now, everybody's got a Brian Clough story. Everybody's got more than one Brian Clough story.
Yes.
What's the cleanest you can tell us?
The cleanest one I can remember, we played Aston Villa at home, and I went on, the team sheet went up the afternoon, went to bed, went to the ground, got my kit on, sitting there, did a few stretches like I normally did, came in just before, like 20 minutes before the kick-off, and said, Anderson, take that kit off. I went, I've just worn a sweat and everything. He said, no, because I think him over there is going to do a better job than you. So I had to take the kit off. I wasn't even sub that day. I had to walk out the dressing room. So that's the sort of thing he did. You never knew what he was going to do from one minute to the next, but that's a true story. So I don't think Arsene Wenger or somebody else could do that these days and get away with it.
Yeah, certainly unpredictable, but we know that it worked, and I'm looking forward to seeing the film.
Yes, so am I, very much so.
Viv, thanks very much for now. Now, I Believe in Miracles, if you want to see it, is out in the cinemas from the 13th of October and on Blu-ray and DVD from the 16th of November. Now, not quite miraculous, but definitely entertaining, was QPR's match at home to Bolton. Here's Dan Mason.
Those who know say a lack of goals has been Bolton's problem this season. In the last 8 days, the Trotters have more than doubled their tally for the season and still have only collected 1 point. At QPR, Gary Medine put them ahead after only 8 minutes. Liam Feeney is one man who has chipped in with a few for Bolton this year. After Darren Pratley's shot was saved, Feeney's third goal in 5 games had Wanderers 2-0 up in West London. Having lost Charlie Austin and Jamie Mackey to injury, QPR were concerned about their goal-scoring potential too. They need not have worried. J. Emmanuel Thomas pulled one back before the R's levelled on the stroke of half-time. It's again Leroy Fair on target after Ben Amos failed to hold his initial header. Without a home win since August, Chris Ramsey has been coming under increasing pressure from R's fans. But QPR completed their comeback in spectacular style through Chiaran Cherry. The 4th goal of the season for the Dutchman. Rangers came close to putting the result beyond doubt. Amos redeeming himself by getting fingertips to Sandro's fierce drive. A vital save which preceded an immediate equaliser. Wellington Silva, Bolton's lively Brazilian winger, making it 3-3 with only 5 minutes to go in normal time. But still QPR were able to win it. 94 minutes on the clock. And J. Emmanuel Thomas gave Chris Ramsey much needed first winning 5.
What we have to do is really thank the fans for the way that they've stuck by us all the way through. Even when we were 2-0 down, they stuck by us. And I think that, the goal at the end was for them, really, because, the game was really over, to be honest.
Some game, that. Great comeback from QPR. Here, though, is Paddy McGuinness, his take on it. Bolton supporter, fan of the show. A slightly different reaction to today's result. He posted a link to this video.
No, wow, no, wow, no, wow.
How many times could we have watched that?
He started doing that about 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's still going. On a day of 105 goals across the Sky Bet Football League, we continue with more action from the Championship in just a moment. Hello again, this is Football League Tonight. We are live on Channel 5, unless you're watching Sunday morning. Well, we're not. It's been a bit of a struggle so far for the teams promoted to the Championship. They started the day occupying the 3 relegation places, and the bottom 2 faced each other today.
There are those who don't believe in the idea of a 6-pointer. Try telling that to Bristol City fans tonight. A mistake by the Dons' Anthony Kay helped give the Championship's bottom side hope. The Robins were ahead after 6 minutes. Bobby Reid assisting with Jonathan Puggia. With 6 goals already this season, Getting Poggia for 2.1 million is looking an inspired bit of business. He would have made it 2-0, were it not for David Martin's save. A win would have taken the Robins out of the relegation zone and dropped the Dons in deep trouble. And in the 94th minute, Daniel Powell curled home this leveller, so Bristol City stay bottom for at least another fortnight.
The other newly promoted team, Preston, have also found the Championship tough. Wednesday's season jump-started by their League Cup win at Newcastle. Kieran Lee got the Owls opener here. Not a bad way to mark 100 games at the club. From one player whose feet are well under the Wednesday table to a newcomer scoring his first for them, Daniel Podil on loan from Watford. The Czech's first league goal in 2 years. Preston hadn't won since the season's second weekend. Alan Brown had never scored in the Championship. Until this moment. A platform to build on with 14 minutes left. Or not. Inside the 6th additional minute, Lewis McGugan caught a glimpse of goalkeeper Jordan Pickford's less than perfect positioning. Some way to seal a third successive league win for Wednesday. Every club has the one that got away, but few tend to rub their noses in it quite like Jordan Rhodes does to Ipswich. When Larson Touré's soft contact on Hope Akpan led to a penalty, no surprise it was Rhodes who did the honours. Let go by Roy Keane, Rhodes has guaranteed goals ever since. And the Tractor Boys were on the receiving end again. Craig Conway's corner, Rhodes 6 in 6 league games against Ipswich. He hit the post in the second half. Even so, he scored 7 in 5. Remarkable given this was just his team's second league win of the season.
Here it is then, the Championship table. Brighton remain unbeaten, top of the pile after their draw with Cardiff. Middlesbrough stay second despite their loss to Reading, who are now 2 points behind them in third and going really well. At the other end of the table, well, Bristol City stay bottom after conceding an injury-time equaliser against MK Dons. Preston, a bit worrying for them, they drop a place, and Bolton fall into the bottom 3 after that late defeat at Queen's Park Rangers.
Now, can you use a phone or write a postcard? Those very life skills could help you win our competition. We'd like to give you and a friend the chance to be at the heart of the action by winning a pair of Sky Bet Football League match tickets, a signed shirt, a 50-inch LG HD TV and £500 cash to spend as you please, all courtesy of Breathe Sport. So for your chance to win, all you have to do is text football to 65515 or post your name and phone number to Football4, PO Box 7557, Derby DE10NP. Entrance must be 18 or over, date subject to availability. Text costs £1.50 plus 1 message at standard network rate. Lines close at midday on the date shown on the screen and 3 days later for postal entries. For rules, go to channel5.com/win. Good luck.
Right, on with the football, on to Sky Bet League One now. Here is a perfect illustration of football's highs and lows. Rory Donnelly's second goal, and this is brilliant, in a 5-1 victory for Gillingham against Fleetwood. This was on Tuesday night. One of the highlights of the week. You would struggle to see a better finish, I would say, anywhere in Europe. But while that result kept Gillingham in the top 3, it meant the end of Graham Alexander's time as manager of Fleetwood Town.
Well, we'll see how the Cod Army got on without him in a short while. First, though, to the matches at the top of the table, starting with another home game for Gillingham.
2 of Gillingham's goals in that win over Fleetwood came from Rory Donnelly. He didn't wait long to open the scoring at the Priestfield. In just the 8th minute, Ben Dickinson finds him for a simple finish. Since David Dunn took caretaker charge of Oldham, all 3 of their games have ended 1-1. So a familiar feeling just before the half-hour when they equalised. Dickinson involved again, this time at the wrong end, as he deflected Michael Higden's shot into his own net. Gillingham have got a 100% record at home this season, and just after half an hour, Oldham's keeper David Cornell not doing enough to put off Donnelly as he scored his second of the day. But that lead only lasted 3 minutes. Oldham equalised. Higden turning provider this time for Dominic Polion to score his second of the season. 4 goals in the first half. The second period was going to struggle to match that, but 10 minutes in, Polion lifted it over. And if Higden felt aggrieved about the equaliser being an own goal, no doubt about that one. But 2 minutes later, Gillingham were level. Josh Wright laying it on for Jake Hessenthaler to score his 3rd of the season. Another score draw, but David Dunn sees it as a turning point.
I think that will be the change in our season. I thought we were, like I said, I thought we were exceptional today. All parts of our play were really good, and you can see the progression the club's making.
Burton's fine form since promotion saw an unnamed championship side approach them about boss Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank this week, but neither he nor his side let that distract them as Mark Duffy drew a fingertip save from Daniel Bentley. Hasselbank's commitment to the League One leaders wasn't swayed. His side maintained their highest ever league placing thanks to Tom Naylor's shot, which Luke Prosser helped in for an own goal early in the second half. Southend's Joe Pigott had bagged a brace in their midweek win at Crewe, but he was denied an equaliser here by smart work from Burton keeper John McLaughlin. Hasselbank pleased with his side's ability to grind out the win.
It was an important 3 points for us, because it was not a very spectacular match. It was not a spectacular performance. It was a really professional performance. And to be able to win those kind of games as well is very important for your season.
A pretty desperate game at the DW, and Wigan's Kieran Morris was involved in the only incidents of note. His attempt, one of the rare shots to trouble the keeper. Wigan dominated the first half, but it was Walsall who pushed for a winner. Midway through the second half, Morris, looking to break into the penalty area, brought down by Craig Morgan for a straight red. But Wigan held on, Walsall's goal difference keeping them second.
It's been a busy week for Bury with successive trips to Peterborough and Colchester. Boss David Flitcroft admitted that took its toll here, but it didn't look to have troubled keeper Rob Leighton, who denied Colchester's Joe Edwards. The hosts had managed 4 wins in a row, Bury 6, but it was goalless at the break after Chris Hussey's free kick clipped the bar. Bury arrived in Essex as the league's top scorers with 20 goals in their 10 games, but they had to wait until 15 minutes from time for the one they needed. Leon Clark popping up to convert Joe Riley's cross. A long journey back, but they're up to 3rd.
Just the one win on the road for Bradford so far this season, and they came into this game on the back of successive defeats, but took the lead when Tony McMahon's free kick fell kindly to Lee Evans. Rochdale's Peter Vincenti won Unsung Hero of the Month this week for his charity work off the field. On the field, it's been going well, pouncing on a chance from Callum Camps, his 6th goal in 7 games. Just before the hour, good work from Steve Davis and some slack defending from Joseph Rafferty helped Devante Cole put Bradford in front with a finish that would have pleased even his dad, Andy. The Bantams have only managed to get 2 points on the road all season, but they sealed all 3 when a Lee Evans cross was turned into his own net by Oliver Lancashire.
Sheffield United began at Port Vale with a place in the top 4 in their sights. But Vale manager Rob Page had his side pumped up for the meeting with his old team, and they made the early breakthrough, Byron Moore slotting in a first in 8 games. United were unbeaten in their last 4 away games, but that record fell into further jeopardy when Uche Ikpeatsu made it 2-0 just before half-time. The 20-year-old on loan from Watford bagging his 2nd goal in as many games. The Blades could have narrowed the gap when Connor Salmon teed up Billy Sharp, only for Jack Anick to intervene with a fine save. Vale's win pushed them up 5 places to 8th, and it might have been more comfortable in the second half had Colin Daniel been able to convert from here. Thwarted in the build-up to the first goal, this time the frame of the goal got in the way. Stoppage time was already being played by the time the visitors picked up what was only a consolation. Matt Dunn eventually forcing the ball home at the 3rd time of asking, but it wasn't enough to spark an even later comeback.
Now, Fleetwood began life without Graham Alexander at fellow strugglers Scunthorpe. Michael, you had a look at this one for us today.
Yeah, I did, and it was a bottom of the table clash, and I think Scunthorpe obviously a terrible run of late. They needed a big win in this, and they eventually got the win that they needed. Paddy Madden sticking the ball in the back of the net. Chris Lucchetti as well, in this game in charge as well. Healer wanted a reaction from his players, disappointed with the performance.
Well, if they'd have lost today, that would have been 4 in a row, their worst league run since March 2013.
And that's when the alarm bells start to come, there's no question about that. But certainly, they got a reaction, they got a performance, and they got that win they needed today.
Well, this is Paddy Madden.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, this is where you want your players. You want them pushing forward, sticking it in the area. And this is a man on form, Paddy Madden. That's his 5th goal of the season as well, in the league as well. So you've got a big man up front, and when he puts the ball in the back of the net, that's what you need.
No win in 7, though, now for Fleetwood, Kelly, who've lost their last 4.
Stay with us, because in a few moments we've got more action from League One, with one side celebrating consecutive league wins for the first time in more than 2 years. Welcome back to Football League tonight. Now, these are very heavy times by the seaside in Blackpool. Not only have they been enjoying a week of sunshine, always nice, but fans also witnessed another rarity. Blackpool recorded their first home win since January when they beat Chesterfield on Tuesday night. Brad Potts scored the second goal in their 2-0 win. That came midway through the second half.
And they were back at Bloomfield Road today for the visit of Swindon. That's where we start our next roundup of action from Sky Bet League One.
Mark Cullen scored in that first home win since January, and his header here provided the only goal today at Bloomfield Road. Penny for the thoughts of Swindon keeper Lawrence Vigouroux back in the side after paying a £50 fine in coppers.
Two teams with a real need for upward momentum met at Gresty Road, where Crewe were hoping to avoid a 4th straight home defeat. But the bottom side were behind before they'd even hit their stride. And it was one of their old boys doing the damage. Danny Gardner gratefully accepting Rice Simon's cross 7 minutes in. Crewe boss Steve Davis says they're targeting a better month in October. David Fox's first goal for the club following his move from Colchester over the summer certainly put him in a better mood at half-time. But their residency at the foot of the table continued after Gardner wrapped up a nervy win for the visitors shortly before the hour mark. A real boost for Chesterfield, who'd endured a 3-game losing streak ahead of this. Crewe 3 points adrift of Fleetwood and 5 from safety.
Just 8 months ago, Keshi Anderson was playing non-league football, but was snapped up by Crystal Palace, who loaned him to Doncaster last week. And when Barnsley failed to clear a corner, Anderson headed in his second in 2 games. Barnsley have only managed to win 1 league game on the road this season, and Conor Hourihane was involved in their equaliser, Sam Winnell heading in his 5th so far this campaign. Although Doncaster are unbeaten at home in the league, they've only managed 1 win. As the game moved into added time, Harry Middleton sent Richard Chaplow through to seal all 3 points, though Doncaster do remain in the bottom 4.
Coventry's players vented their frustration at each other in the dressing room after last week's defeat at Bury. Here, they took it out on Shrewsbury. Adam Armstrong firing in the 7th in his 10 games of a loan spell from Newcastle. They doubled that lead in first-half stoppage time when Marc-Antoine Fortuné had set up. Armstrong won a penalty himself. Nathaniel Knight-Percival with the foul. Fortuné stepped up to score his first goal on his first start for the club. Shrewsbury boss Mickey Mellon said Coventry were one of the better sides they faced this season. With 2 goals and an unbeaten home record to their name, there was a confidence about their second-half display, capped by Armstrong's second. 8 now for the league's top scorer. Coventry's biggest home win of the season was also Shrewsbury's heaviest defeat so far.
Graham Wesley is yet to win at home since taking charge of Peterborough, but they took the lead here when a free kick found John Taylor, who came close, allowing Lee Angle to capitalise. That his 4th goal in 5 games. And just 3 minutes later, Taylor able to find the target himself with a great shot. That won his 2nd this season. Peterborough lost their keeper Ben Annick to injury after half an hour, and in the second half Sean Williams set up Byron Webster to make a stand and pull one back for Millwall. Neil Harris's side are yet to lose away from home this season, and they pushed to equalise. Sean Williams involved again, but when his shot wasn't cleared, it was Carlos Edwards who was able to send a crossover for a powerful header from Tony Craig to pull Millwall level. Right, I hope you're keeping up. Chris Forrester certainly was, sharp as a tack, as he reacted fastest to a loose ball here to put Peterborough 3-2 in front. And just 3 minutes later, Connor Washington was sent clear. He broke down the left and was able to open up a 2-goal lead for Peterborough. That's his first goal in 11 games. But we're not done yet. Millwall certainly weren't. A Shane Ferguson corner, not dealt with by substitute keeper Dion Henry, and Mark Beavers brought them back in with 1/4 of an hour to go. but Peterborough weren't to be denied, and a sparkling game capped by a great goal from Taylor. That was his second of the day. Put your abacus out. That's 5-3.
Few crackers, weren't there, in that one? Here's what it means to the table in League One. Burton's victory over Southend sees them move 3 clear at the top of the table. Walsall stay second. Bury's 6th straight league win puts them 3rd. Gillingham dropped to 4th after that draw against Oldham. At the other end of the table, Crewe stay bottom after losing at home against Chesterfield. Managerless Fleetwood are 3 points above them, while Blackpool's win over Swindon sees them join Doncaster, Scunthorpe, Shrewsbury and Oldham on 11 points.
Well, that's how they stand in League One, and when we return, we'll take a look at the ever-changing situation at the top of League Two.
Hello again. 2 teams in League Two's top 6 came face-to-face at the Wham Stadium today. Accrington's Young Guns have really been going for it so far this season. They were unbeaten in 8 prior to the visit of Oxford. Michael, take us through this one.
Yeah, it was, and it was a fantastic performance from Michael Dapperton on his side, you have to say that. Quality from both teams. They tried to push forward, but when the quality did come, you know, we were expecting it. It was great play down this left-hand side from Oxford to get us off to a great start. O'Dowda, lovely play into the area here. Johnny on the spot, as he would call it, but it's a wonderful finish to get this game off to a wonderful start, and that's exactly what we needed, because Stanley, as we just heard, unbeaten in 8. They're flying at the moment, they really are.
Yeah, Kemar Roof scored 10 in 13. He's showing here today that he can set goals up as well.
Yeah, he certainly can, and you have to say, I mean, it was a wonderful finish from Matty Crooks, who got his 4th goal as well of the season. Wonderful finish. I think he just got a slight little deflection, but let's not take anything away from him. It was a great finish, and it was game on.
Not for long, though.
Again, it could have been so different as well. I mean, wonderful save. It's all over the place here. 3 or 4 occasions they could have got that second goal, the all-important second goal it would have been for Accrington, but wonderful save there from Oxford. But again, they turned the screw. They looked for that second goal. Wonderful play. And Secombe gets himself on the score sheet to make it 2-1. And it was always going to be difficult for Accrington to try and get themselves back into this game. The way that Oxford played, counter-attacking, they've got a lot of pace. They try and get it down the flanks. When they get themselves into the area, you cannot pull anybody down. You know you're in the 18-yard box.
Every player on that pitch knew that was a pen.
Yeah, I think they did. That's why there was no complaints. But again, a wonderful finish there from Secombe to get his 2nd of the game and a big win for Oxford.
It was comprehensive in the end. 3-1. Oxford now unbeaten in 4, Kelly.
Yeah, and it was a day when the teams at the top of Sky Bet League 2 were all at home. Let's take a look, starting with Wycombe's match against Northampton.
Wycombe had consolidated their top spot with back-to-back wins and no goals conceded, and the morning's leaders were quickly into their stride. Just 7 minutes played when 20-year-old Luke O'Neill scored his first ever senior goal. But not for nothing had Northampton gone 4 games unbeaten. They almost levelled when Matt Ingram saved Mark Richards' shot and Nicky Adams couldn't quite reach the loose ball. But the informed Richards did find the net, and splendidly too, 10 minutes before half-time, this free kick, his 6th goal of the season for 1-1. And the Cobblers further stunned Wycombe on the other side of the interval by pinching the lead, courtesy of the unmarked Lawson Diath. And the marking wasn't much better as defender Sean Brisley's first ever Northampton goal made it 3-1. But the visitors still had the inconvenience of teenager Dan Rowe capitalising on a desperate scramble on a day of poor defending. But in the end, the Cobblers inflicted only a 2nd defeat of the season on the Chairboys, who were unseated at the top as a result.
We've played some great stuff today, and we feel we've opened them up, even though they're a dangerous side and they ask a lot of questions and they have to make you defend. But League 2 football is about winning headers, tackles and races and getting on the ball and then trying to play. And you have to have both parts of the game, and we certainly had both parts of the game today.
Wycombe's defeat gave Plymouth the chance to top the table, a rare opportunity and one they were determined not to pass up. Ruben Reid had the Pilgrims ahead from Graham Carey's through ball. But with 85 minutes gone, it seemed that Crawley might poop the party. Rory Deacon levelled after Josh Yorworth's header had been tipped to momentary safety. But parity at Home Park was also temporary. Hiram Boateng's 89th minute goal ensured that Plymouth ended the day top of the table, the first time they've done that in any division in over 11 years. Visiting Dagenham on Tuesday and Leighton on Saturday, Notts County have been taking in all the beauty spots of East London this week. Ricardo Monitz made 9 changes to his Magpies team after a draw with the Daggers, but his reshuffled pack couldn't clear this Orient free kick, allowing Sammy Moore to collect his first goal for the O's. Notts County's quick thinking did see them mount a rapid recovery in the second half. Less than a minute had been played when Alan Smith's quickly taken free kick found Adam Campbell. John Stead was the man to fire the leveller. But 2 goals in the final 11 minutes gave Orient victory. After Sean Clois's shot was saved, Jay Simpson tucked away the goal that, according to O's boss Ian Hendon, was just reward for their resilience. After a flying start to the season, Orient ran aground in September, failing to record a single win. 3 days into October, and the wind is back in their sails. A screamer from Moore settled this one and puts the O's into the top 3.
Not much to see here, if I'm honest. Pompey seeking the points at one end of the table, Yeovil at the other, but neither did enough to get them. Paul Sturrock's strugglers saw a Ryan Bird header go wide in the first half. Pompey's best chance fell to Michael Doyle, but his long ranger was well saved by Artur Krysiak. A 0-0 if ever there was one.
Excellent honesty. Well, that's how the teams at the top fared. After the break, we'll see if John Sheridan could start to revive the fortunes of League Two's bottom club. Tonight. Now, it's been quite the week for Newport fans. First, they've got the opportunity to join the likes of Portsmouth, Exeter, Wycombe and Barcelona as fan-owned clubs after the Supporters Trust raised nearly £250,000. Then they lost Terry Butcher as manager and gained John Sheridan.
The initial reaction from fans to that appointment was actually pretty positive. His history of winning promotion from League Two with Chesterfield and taking Plymouth to the playoffs last year appears to have impressed supporters in South Wales. His first game in charge, it was at home against Exeter.
Having been welcomed by the home fans, it was a promising enough first half for Sheridan, who steered County into the interval level. Lee Holmes' curler was the closest they came to conceding. But on the hour mark, they reverted to type as Joel Grant got his second goal of the season to put the Grecians in front. But the signs that the new boss might improve things came on 73 minutes when Lionel John Lewis's deflected volley put Newport level, the first goal for him in 9 games for the club. Tough days lie ahead for sure, but this was a guardedly encouraging start for Sheridan.
I'm just really pleased that we got some out of the game, because I think we deserve something out of the game, definitely. And the performance was really good. I've just said if you give me that week in, week out, and I think they've shown the fans, you know, there was a lot of desire there to try and win the game, and that's all they asked for, and that's what I asked for, and that performance was worthy.
Mansfield buoyant after an away success at Stevenage in midweek, and early on it showed. Mal Benning full of self-belief to score a blistering opener. Not bad for just his 4th career league goal. That was on 6 minutes. On 9, the Daggers were level. Another high-class strike. This time Matt McClure, 5 for the season, all in. Then came a mad couple of minutes for Ashley Chambers. As this game reached the half-hour mark, his goals record for the club read just 2 in 44 league matches. By the 32nd minute, he doubled his Daggers goals tally. Though the home fans didn't know it, at 3-1 up, this was as good as this game was going to get. Clevind Dicamona was clumsy in his own penalty area. Matt Green, the Mansfield fall guy, for a penalty. From 12 yards, Green himself. 3-2 at half-time. The home team led until the final 10 minutes. Marking appeared only optional as Christian Pearce helped himself to his first Mansfield goal to level the match. And then with 5 to play, the Dagenham defence again hit self-destruct, allowing Adi Yousuf to grab the winner. The Stags' 4th away win, already 1 more than the whole of last season.
Teddy Sheringham's management honeymoon is well and truly over after a run of defeats, and it didn't get any better against promotion-chasing Carlisle. It might have done had the hosts converted a first-half penalty when Brett Williams was fouled by Tom Miller, but Mark Gillespie saved Williams' poorly taken effort. And it was costly, as defender Miller scored his 4th goal of the season late on to consign Stevenage to a 4th straight loss.
Just 2 wins in their opening 10 league games this season saw York begin against Cambridge only 2 points outside the relegation zone. But they surged into a 2-0 lead early in the second half, Michael Coulson delivering the first 5 minutes in. John McComb then doubled their advantage soon after. Both goals set up by Rhys Turner. Cambridge's recent record of 1 win in 8 didn't suggest that a comeback would be on the cards. But with 20 minutes to go, Mark Roberts gave them hope, firing through a crowd of players. And 10 minutes later, Barry Corr continued his excellent scoring record since signing from Southend. This one, his 6th in just 5 games, to rescue a point for the visitors.
This London derby saw Wimbledon unbeaten in 3 games at home up against Barnet, who'd lost all 5 away since returning to the Football League. And true to form, the Dons took an early lead through Lyle Taylor. It really should have been 2, but after Michael Nelson's foul on Adebayo Aziz in the box, George Frankham saw his penalty saved by Max Crocombe. But the Barnet keeper's subsequent sortie upfield in stoppage time led to the second Dons goal, as Sean Rigg rolled in his first since April. It's now 4 home games unbeaten for the Dons. Barnet's travel sickness shows no sign of a cure.
The momentum that great escapees Hartlepool brought to this season seems to have petered out. Jonathan Smith's 13-minute opener for Luton had Hartlepool looking at a 10th game with only 1 win. Pools did threaten a comeback. Billy Painter levelled a minute before the break. A psychologically important time to score, or so the old saying goes. And how do we explain this then? 2 more goals for Luton inside 12 minutes of the restart. Jack Marriott scored both of them. He's got 4 this season now, and looks like being another rough diamond, polished up to perfection by John Still. Oliver Lee also caught the eye. His first Luton goal was a stunner and rounded off their 4th straight win. The Hatters now within striking distance of the playoff places.
There were few signs in the opening 27 minutes of how this one would pan out, but once the touch paper was lit, it burnt brightly. Lee Mansell was the first to sparkle with his opening goal of the season. Morecambe's Sean Miller levelled early in the second half with a neat lob for his first goal in nearly a year, but they were only on terms for 4 minutes. Billy Bodin then scored his 2nd goal in successive games to restore the Pirates' advantage. Then 2 more quick-fire goals followed. Matty Taylor slid in to further extend Rovers' lead. But Tom Barkhazen was on hand to drag the Shrimps back into it again at 3-2 in a madcap second half. Yet again, the visitors put 2 goals between the sides. Morecambe's Sean Bealey conceding a penalty, which Ellis Harrison duly thumped in. Amazingly, though, the home side weren't done yet, and they responded again with a penalty of their own. Ollie Clark fouled Miller, and Paul Mullin ensured a nervous finale, but Rovers had done enough to secure a 2nd successive win.
Here's what it all means then. Plymouth go top with their victory over Crawley. Wycombe's defeat at home against Northampton sees them fall to 2nd. They're joined on 21 points by Leyton Orient, who got their first win in 6 league games. Portsmouth fall to 4th, level on points with Oxford. Newport, new man in charge, but they stay bottom after their draw with Exeter. John Sheridan's team a point behind Dagenham and Redbridge. Yeovil's draw at Portsmouth means they stay 3rd from bottom. Crawley and Stevenage, who both lost today, are just a point better off.
So when all's said and done, and at the end of the day...
It was Jay's day for QPR, a 94th minute winner for J. Emmanuel Thomas in a 7-goal thriller against Bolton.
Nobody's going for a Burton. Jimmy Floyd isn't going anywhere, and an own goal kept them top of League One.
And Hiram Boateng put Plymouth on the summit of League Two, the first time they've topped a table for more than a decade. Viv, before we let you go, a word on Newport's new man in charge, John Sheridan. You played with him many moons ago.
A long time ago,
For a couple of years in the early 90s. Knowing him as a guy as you do, what does he bring to this job?
I just see where Plymouth got top of the league, and he was there last year, and I think he did a decent job there. I'm surprised he got the sack, but he's got a good job now at Newport, and hopefully he can turn it around for them.
And Mickey, who's caught your eye today?
I've got to say Nick Blackman. We've got Reading fans in the crowd today, haven't we? He's just been on fire. I think it's 8 and 8 he's got at the moment, so let's hope it continues for his club and him.
Yeah, Reading fans will certainly be hoping that. Do you think we're starting to see the Championship in particular take shape, or is there still a lot of changes between now and the end of the season?
After 10 to 14 games, you see at the top and then the bottom, but it's tight again. Every single season, it just doesn't surprise you.
It just doesn't surprise you. There is so much still to play for, both in the Championship, League One and in League Two, though. For now, though, thank you very much to our 2 England fullbacks. 33 caps between them, 3 of them are Mickey's. But as Mickey was saying, not just for Nick Blackman, it's been a fantastic day for Reading. They're getting ever closer to the Championship throne. I guess that's why they call them the Royals. We'll see you again, same time next week. But for now, though, from all of us here at Football League Tonight, goodbye.
Goodbye.